Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondercide comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed. Lab-proven to work fast. And proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wondercide's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wondercide.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wondercide.com. Wondercide. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wondercide today.
Are you a film fan who loves the ultimate home video experience? Look no further than The Disconnected. Your host, Ryan Verrill, is your go-to source for the latest and most accurate information on home video releases, exclusive interviews with industry insiders and filmmakers, and has established a thriving community where every film and physical media enthusiast feels welcome. From hidden gems to blockbuster hits, The Disconnected brings you insider knowledge and a welcoming space to share your love of cinema. Watch every Thursday night at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific for the live announcements show and follow The Disconnected on social media to stay updated. Subscribe to The Disconnected on YouTube or on the podcast provider of your choice and dive into a world where every movie night is an adventure.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the 3 hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Welcome to The Shabby Detective, yet another Columbo podcast. I'm your host, Mike White. Joining me, of course, is Mr. Chris Dashew.
What, you don't believe me that someone's trying to kill me? I'm not trying to kill myself, I promise.
And also on this episode, we have a very special guest. It is screenwriter and provocateur, Mr. Richard Hatem.
Mr. Nelson, if you don't mind starting on your mark here and then just walk toward the camera, you'll look more natural that way. I had to call out Jack Riley immediately.
More than anything, you hear Jack Riley more than you see Jack Riley because he's pretty hidden by that camera.
Somebody watching Rugrats in the other room? Or am I enjoying a weird Bob Newhart show hallucination?
We are talking about the episode Candidate for Crime. It is the 3rd episode of the 3rd season, aired originally November 4th, 1974. This is one of those 94-minute episodes. This might be the longest episode that we've talked about because I think the other ones were like 91 minutes. Mostly they're around 70 minutes, but this one, yeah, it's even longer than Dagger of the Mind. Directed by Boris Sagal with a whole lot of credited screenwriters on this. Irving Perlberg, Alvin R. Freeman, Roland Kibbe, our old friend Dean Hargrove, from a story by Larry Cohen. This one stars Jackie Cooper, little Jackie Cooper, don't kill my dog, mister, as Nelson Hayward, a politician who is getting close to winning and doing everything that he possibly can to ensure that he wins the race and gets to keep his mistress. At least that's my take on it. What did you think of this one, Chris?
Yeah, it was 94 minutes, wasn't it? I don't have an issue with Parts of the episode, I feel like this episode meanders a lot. It does the thing that some of the lesser episodes of the show have done, where it casts a rather wide net and then resolves it in a way that feels really unsatisfying if it resolves it at all. And then the final resolution in this episode is, we'll get to it. This was a long episode of Columbo. I actually thought it was over about halfway through. I was like, it's not. Oh, there's more. And there's like another 20 minutes. It was fine. I don't know. There are things that worked really against it that we'll talk about, but it's not one of the better episodes. It's not the worst that we've seen. It is in the lower third for me, at least.
And Richard, what did you think of this episode?
I understand what Chris is saying, and I think I'm siding with him. There's always a lot of things about Columbo episodes that I like, and I think I like them here too. However, I will say, in a weird way, my least favorite thing about this episode was Columbo. And also, I did feel the meandering. By meandering, I think what it means is the greater creative influence Peter Falk had over episodes as the seasons go on. I think that is what results in the meandering.
So what didn't you like about Columbo in this episode?
His character has become so beyond eccentric, sort of defiantly weird, and in a way that feels self-indulgent on the part of the actor Peter Falk. And I know that he had greater and greater creative control as the seasons went on, and his almost overwhelming interest, was turning these things into little Cassavetes movies that were just solely about character quirk. And so when you've got that influence pushing this way, but also traditional mystery storytelling on network television in the early 70s pushing the other way, you do get a rich gumbo of entertainment. And it's certainly more entertaining, I would think, and more idiosyncratic than the other shows that were on at the time, which were very straightforward, procedural, just whether it was Kojak or Hawaii Five-0. And I may have the years off, but we're talking about 70s crime solving stuff. And many of those things are very one notes. The fact that he brought a little vinegar to his performance was probably what made the show so popular. But this point, looking at it, it does feel like, wow, we're really spending a lot of time with his fumfering around and the car getting, oh, sorry, Lieutenant Columbo, we've got to examine your car. Really? Do you?
Oh, my God.
Cops are going to be spending a lot of time searching the lieutenant's car. Okay. Oh, boy, look at my windshield wipers. Boy.
I can look around here and say, absolutely, Richard is going to get roasted, and I am not on the hot take end of things for one.
I mean, look, I get it. That's like someone watching the Rockford Files and complaining that Rockford is spending too much time goofing around with Angel. That's the stuff that I love. So I'm sure there are Columbo fans that are like, you motherfucker, that's why we watch Columbo, is for those moments. But I am going to say, for a 94-minute episode, you felt it more. You just felt it more. You can have eccentric moments from Peter Falk, but you can also deliver something that is a bit more efficient, especially as you pointed out, when it's fairly unclear why this guy is going to all the trouble he's going to do the things he's doing. Talking about Jackie Cooper. And then the solution feels like something that kind of all happened in the last 5 minutes of the episode.
Yes. When it is resolved at the end, I stared at the screen and went, really? Of all the things to have it resolved from, it was this? Like all the other things that he did, all the things with the watch and all. We've talked about this before on the show of like, again, the reality of Columbo, and could any of these people that Columbo catches actually go to jail? And plenty of them incriminate themselves and more or less admit it, right, to Columbo. This one, I genuinely believe this guy would have gotten away with it even after what happened. Prove it. And again, it's all circumstantial evidence. But most of the time that's enough. This time I don't know. For me, this is one of those episodes where the way it concludes, the way it wraps up, I was like, you had so many other off ramps and it seems like you just ran into a wall at the end.
The notion of I pried the bullet out of the wall and handed it over to ballistics. Like, we investigated this room 3 hours ago and you reported the shot being fired 5 minutes ago. To me, that's okay. That's legit, but that doesn't pay off all the earlier investigation. I wanted it to be that night at the party, something. So you felt, okay, we've been on this journey for a reason, rather than, oh, everything was just happened in the last couple of hours that has to do with a light on a phone. It's more fun when this stuff is set up. And by the way, Columbo has done many great stories that where you do get the richness of every step along the way paved the way to the solution. This one just didn't quite feel that way. Look, it's season 3. It's episode 3. It gets harder and harder to do. But on this one, it showed.
So, Richard, fuck you. The reason why I watch Columbo is for all of this other stuff. I believe that was your quote.
Wow.
Like I said,
now you're throwing it right back in my face.
I am.
Acid.
Well, like I said, for once, I am not going to have the hottest take here. Coming right. I hate Columbo because of the way he is.
I agree definitely with the whole thing about the bullet at the end. It's almost like a second murder, like how we put the second body into these episodes, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And it feels like we are just trying to cement this whole thing of I'm being persecuted by the mob or some, nefarious characters. And so this is the way that I, as Jackie Cooper, that I finally bring this home and say, look it is the night of the election and these guys are after me, and it absolves me of all these other crimes. It is similar to me, Chris, the one with Mel Ferrer and the secretary of I think it was the actress, and how we think that she's going to go after Mel Ferrer because he's got the dirt, but she kills the secretary, and then it's like, oh, well, it was somebody else trying to kill him, and then she tries to run him over. It's kind of like that as far as trying to throw suspicion off by claiming that there's a larger conspiracy. And there is no larger conspiracy here other than the conspiracy that Jackie Cooper has created around himself with his kind of crooked campaign manager who, I guess he's got dirt on him, and he's basically like the Steve Bannon. I feel like once Jackie Cooper gets into power, this guy's going to swoop in and be like, oh, hey, I've got some legislation I need you to pass for me, please.
Are you talking about the Ken Swofford character?
Yes. Yeah.
Like he's gonna strong. Yeah. Okay.
He's thoroughly unlikable, which is why it's easy for him to be murdered. He's just like such an unlikable dickhead. But at the same time, you understand his character. It feels like a fully formed character. This guy's, look, I put my fucking professional career on the line for you, dickhead, and you're just going to ruin it for your own personal peridelictos. Go right ahead, but don't, because I don't want you to do that. So no, we have to settle this right now. The stakes seem very strange. Again, you got into this position because of this guy, because the Jackie Cooper character is completely inept when it comes to actually being a politician. I think that scene next to the pool, I don't know, the scene next to the pool, for me, it's like, this guy has no charisma whatsoever. It's being propped up by other people. This guy's literally telling him what to say. Don't fucking ad-lib it, dude. Just do what I'm telling you. But the optics are very odd because he's murdering his meal ticket. Jackie Cooper is.
But see, here's the thing. If you want someone charismaless, don't cast Jackie Cooper, who has tons of charisma. As a human being, he's charming. Hey, if I win by 2 votes, you know who it was. Jackie Cooper, as a person who's been in show business for 90 years, it's like the guy's got charisma. And he wasn't playing inept. He wasn't like, it's not like behind the scenes. He was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Could someone please, I need it written down. That almost wasn't part of the character. It was just that Ken Swofford was such a blowhard. And I love Ken Swofford. Anytime he shows up, I'm a happy guy. I was just sad he died so early because I enjoy him as an actor. It seems to have something to do with, I don't want to break up with my mistress. And this guy's telling me I've got to. And he's going to make me, so I got to kill him. On the other hand, though, we never see that relationship. We never see the value of that relationship to him. We don't see them together. It's like, look, Joanna Linville, who plays his wife, who's fantastic, by the way, and I love her, and her performance is fantastic. And then this other girl, her performance isn't that great. That actress who played, she's not that good. And I'm like, then you better at least convince me you're in love with her and where's the scene where it's, I'm going to leave my wife. You mean everything to me. I'll do and it's like, now we at least get it, you know?
And if she wasn't that charismatic, she should have at least been more of a piece of ass. You know, it should have been Leslie Ann Warren or somebody there.
That's the character that she plays in The Killer Inside Me. She plays the Amy Stanton character opposite Stacy Keach, which I actually saw her earlier this year in something. And what's funny is she's way better in that, Tisha Sterling is, than she is in this. You would think that the wife is going to be the thankless role here, but the wife is not the thankless role. It's the exact opposite, because they, for whatever reason, they really weighted it in the wrong direction. Like, if Jackie Cooper is willing to go through all this to just possibly destroy his career and everything he wants in life to just be with this woman, why? What reason? And it's, because she's younger than his wife and she likes to fool around in his office with him, and she doesn't seem like an alcoholic like his wife does. Again, like, they try to make his wife like awful too, which it doesn't work either.
In the script level, on the direction level, there's a way to write that role as a harridan and just have her be an emasculating bitch and just go after him with fucking tongs. But she doesn't. Again, we don't get those scenes where she's like, oh, you're just nothing. You think you're something. They all think you're something, and I hate you. It's easy. Look, those characters were all over television. That's the easiest thing in the world to write. They didn't do it.
Well, we've seen them on this show before.
Yeah. The emasculating bitch. You could have even done that. And without Tisha Sterling really having anything to do, you could just at least juxtapose the two against one another and say, she doesn't treat him that way. Of course he wants to be with her. It's not a one or the other. It's just the absence of this in that equation. But they don't even do that. I don't even find Jackie Cooper to be that compelling as a villain either, because again, his reasoning seems so uninteresting that I'm like, all right, dude, best I can tell, you're just treating her like a piece of ass, so you could have any piece of ass you want. You're a visible figure now. You have what? You're about to win this election, and you, for all intents and purposes, would have fucking gotten away with it too. That's the other thing that it feels like is, again, we talked about this before, Mike. I don't know how you feel about it with this episode. Jackie Cooper could have. And it feels like the plot makes him do something stupider to get himself caught for no reason other than he needs to be caught at the end. Like, Columbo felt like he was grasping at straws more or less throughout the entire episode.
One of my favorite parts of the episode was Jackie Cooper's plan and plot, which in very much Columbo fashion is laid out for us in a very ingenious way. So we're like, oh, this guy's good. Oh, he's thought of everything. Oh, I get it. Oh, and so he did that. When they ask this, he can say that. That stuff, again, on the page and in performance, because Jackie Cooper was fairly confident in his portrayal, I think he carries it off really well. You do get to that point where you're like, couldn't you just not do any of this and just continue seeing once you're senator, just fire the guy. You're gonna win, right?
Jack Kennedy, Bill Clinton.
You're polling 8 points ahead. Why go through all this fucking trouble? It for what?
I like some of the things that Columbo's doing in here, especially when he gets to ask him how much his suit jacket costs. That's good. And then we get Vito Scotti again, second episode in a row. I was so happy about that. And then the whole thing with all the different cloth and the material and the cut and all this, just to be able to say, we couldn't get this jacket for you in less than 10 days. And then that plays in, but it doesn't really play that big of a part. That should have been kind of a gotcha moment.
It's the bait.
Oh, yeah, we think it is. And then Jackie Cooper just swats it down so fast. And we're like, oh, shit. Second only to Jack Riley. Anytime Vito Scotti shows up, I'm just like, oh, my God, I feel like I'm on Gilligan's Island. Here he is doing his thing. Where is today's Vito Scotti? Where are these actors now? Where's today's Jack Riley?
Eugene Levy.
Today's Jack Riley is probably like Rob Hubel.
Today's Jack Riley is still probably Richard Kind.
Richard, I'm a huge fan of Richard Kind.
There you go. There you go. Richard Kind. There's a guy, he shows up on a show and you're like, I'm sitting back. I am good. We got Richard Kind. I'm in good hands for the rest of this episode.
Or even like a Stephen Tobolowsky, I could see him running that suit shop, well, I don't know, Lieutenant,
I love it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe you're right. Maybe the age of the character actor isn't totally dead.
And if it were a shorter episode, the jacket would have been how he got caught. It feels like we had to have all these fake outs just because it's a longer episode. And that, I want to say, I'm trying to remember, I think it was the one you've already mentioned. That episode had several fake outs too, where it's, and this is how we got to the end. I don't know. Again, I felt if it were me, the jacket would have been an easy way to go to wrap up the episode in a satisfying way, or something to do with the gun. Again, they do go with the gun, but it's in such a bizarre it's so contrived. The idea that he stands there with the gun, shoots it through the wall, nobody hears it, because that's how silencers work. They just make the gun make no noise. Not the case. It
sounds like you're coughing. It makes this noise.
It's just one of those things where it's just, that's the movie logic. And okay, so it's movie logic, fine. But the fact that they get there, and look, I also want to point out, because it always fucking cracks me up, you can't silence a fucking revolver. That's not a thing. You cannot silence a revolver. There are no revolver silencers because of the way a revolver works. You cannot silence it because of the mechanism with which the bullet leaves the chamber and the action of the barrel. You can't silence a revolver. So anytime they do it in anything, it's just what?
This message brought to you by NRA Representative Chris Stashu.
It's a cop show. And part of the way this is concluded is because he was shooting a gun in a hotel suite and nobody heard it.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. I would have preferred it if the bullet went through the wall and killed Columbo.
Columbo has to solve this one from the grave, folks.
Or it's like that scene in Mulholland Drive where somebody comes in and goes, something bit me real bad.
That was what I was expecting. He shoots through the wall and it kills somebody. Somebody got shot and they pulled the bullet out of him. But again, Columbo just goes, I have the galaxy brain and I knew you were doing something because, and again, tenuous at best, he goes, I didn't see the light on the phone light up. We could have just gone and fucking lied down, dude. He could have been doing anything else. Again, you're assuming he's up to no good because the plot necessitates that. And I don't notice it when it's not lazy, but just matter of fact about it.
We're getting to a point in the series, and I think we got to it a lot earlier, frankly, probably in the first season, where the audience interest pivots a little bit from pure crime solving to we're enjoying Peter Falk. And so now Peter Falk just shows up at the campaign headquarters early on with no apparent, I'm here to figure out a specific thing. It's more like, I'm here just to observe. There's this overwhelming feeling that he's already read the script.
Hey, man, haven't you seen Columbo before?
And now he's just observing the scenes. He's like walking into the scenes going, I'm just going to hang out here to let you know what you're doing right now is registering with me. Okay, now I'm leaving. Okay, but why did you show up in the first place? Was there a question you needed to ask or a thing? Now, I will say this. The first thing that these writers, whoever, Cohen, who wrote the outline, and then the guys who actually wrote the script, the first thing they are told about the needs of the episode is it's a 2-hour episode. We're filling a 2-hour slot. There's going to be 94 minutes, which means your script needs to be 100 pages, which means you've got to structure it in such a way that it's basically a feature film. All the revelations have to come. An hour in has to be a big thing. And then 90 minutes in. So they're like, okay, so what you're asking me to write is a 2-hour mystery, not a 1-hour mystery. Got it. Oh, okay. So now let's really draw this out. And how do we do the cat and mouse where it looks like Columbo's got him? But he doesn't. Well, he's got him again. No, he doesn't. What are the other scenes we're going to build in? But knowing that, it's even more upsetting that we don't get the motivational scenes that could support what Jackie Cooper is doing. You've got the time. Give us a scene with the secretary who you're having the affair with, and make us understand why it's worth it to you to go to all this trouble.
They just kiss and she calls him darling.
Yeah, they didn't want to show the blowjob on TV. This is not FX network.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It was 74.
It was a different time then. Expectations for television were different.
I was really hoping that the watch was going to be the thing that got him. Between the watch, because there's the watch that doesn't match everything else in the campaign manager's wardrobe. There's also the whole thing about the light and how the garage would have been lit and all that. That one,
the
after
whole
a while,
scene on that fucking thing. Oh, and I'm here, and this is 10 minutes of this episode. Is Columbo drawn on a fucking whiteboard?
And he's got like little paper cars in his pocket at all times.
I very much feel that they probably didn't write originally a 100-page script, that they probably wrote their typical length script, and then they added a bunch of scenes. So like the whole thing you were talking about before with the cops that are inspecting his car, that feels so tacked on. And that's kind of what we saw with the Etude in Black, where it was like, oh, well, this clearly doesn't fit with the rest of this. Like the whole thing of Columbo complaining to the detective about the scant information that we get about the murder victim. It's like, okay, yeah, all right, that it's a good scene, but it doesn't belong in this episode. And same thing with the car inspection. It's a good scene, but it doesn't belong in this episode. I think there's another one in a couple, I don't know which season it is, but like I think it's Larry Storch is the driving guy or something. Like Columbo's car gets a lot of, I know, pun intended, mileage throughout this entire show. And when they do that, it always feels like it's a crutch.
Yeah, because his car's not that bad. It's not like he's driving a car that's a complete piece of shit. It's
exactly.
They're playing it up like this guy is pedaling the car with his feet like the fucking Flintstones. It's, are you sure this isn't a department car, buddy? And it's, I don't know what even kind of car this is, but it clearly runs. It gets him from point A to point B. Oh, the windshield wipers don't work. I would be curious to see how many of these not out of place scenes, but scenes that scene could literally have been in any of the episodes we've seen. It's, I need to find this address. What address? Ridgewood Drive. They don't say any of the characters' names. They never say anybody's names. This could have been filmed 2 seasons ago and put in now. Like, that is literally how completely out of context it is. And I'm, like you mentioned, Mike, the better episodes, it's not that they don't have them, but the better episodes, I don't notice them out of place as much. They're like the thing with Bert and the chili. Like, that did not need to be there. But yet it was a fantastic addition, and is something that I think about because it creates a furtherance of the Columbo character. This just goes, oh, he's a dingbat. Okay, we know that. And they don't think he's a cop because he doesn't look like a cop. How many? Everybody says that at this point. The cop saying it is just par for the course.
The best I can figure is that he was driving up to the senator's home for some reason to investigate something. But the only real piece of information he got quite accidentally when the guy who works at the gas station garage said, oh, we ran out of gas, so we closed early that night.
That's another thing, by the way. That's a
he wasn't asking about that. It's that just came to him. He wasn't like, were you guys, does the phone here work? Like he wasn't following his own theory. And I know that one of the things about Columbo is that he does stuff to try to unnerve the people he thinks are suspects into taking action. And so there's a way you can look at this and go, okay, all that stuff with the wife during the filming of the commercial was for the intended effect of rattling the wife enough to go to Nelson Haywood, tell him, and then get him rattled to take more action to cover up his tracks. And then those more desperate actions would be easier to nail him on, which is eventually what happened. And sometimes that is what happens in this show. But man, it seemed fairly loosely held together, I would say.
I'm not going to argue about that at all. It is very tenuous, some of these connections here.
Hey, what'd you think about Mario Gallo, the Italian dentist?
I'm Italian. You're Italian. We're not part of the mob, though.
What is this, like, Columbo goes to the veterinarian at night. He goes to the dentist at night.
Etude in Black was the veterinarian at night, wasn't it?
And the dentist office looks like a hotel room. Why does it always? Some of these sets, look, there's nothing I love more than the production design of Columbo and Haywood Nelson's house when they throw the party. I just want that on a continuous loop. I just want to look at the couch upholstery. I want to look at the wall hangings. Now, Chris is too young, and Mike, you're a Midwest king. But for me, seeing those early 70s LA interiors is so evocative. It's just, oh my God, that really is how places look. Everything was just a little too much. Man, does it just literally makes me feel like I'm 5 years old at my grandmother's house.
So I was looking up Jackie Cooper just to see what else he was up to at this time. He was making the whole circuit. He was doing, now hold on to your hats here, Hawaii Five-0, McCloud, Ironside, Kojak, Heck Ramsey, all within like a 2-year period of time.
He did at least 2 Rockfords. He was in a big one of the better Rockfords, The House on Willis Avenue. He played a bad guy, even worse than this guy. And he directed a couple Rockfords.
I just wish there had been more whatever made him so evil. Because I don't know. The wife put it best. She goes, only in the 70s could you have a character be happy in one room and then the next room it's he does that thing where he walks into the next room and automatically puts on the serious face, and it's we get it, he's a bad guy now. But I don't know, he's almost in a way he's not even dislikable, frankly. He's one of the least dislikable villains the show has had.
If Kolchak had gone 2 seasons, that Jackie Cooper would have played Detective Raskin. Kolchak, what are you doing here?
Get out of here. The police chief says we're done with you.
We just line him up with Keenan Wynn and William Daniels as the next guy who plays a frustrated police captain dealing with Kolchak.
He would have nailed that role.
So much.
I agree. I like his Hayward character, and not Haywood Buzzoff, our public relations specialist.
I like Boris Segal's direction, and I think that this is, as much as we're dogging on this episode, deservedly in a lot of respects, this is better than the Greenhouse Jungle. Boris Segal's direction is great, and Katie Segal is in this episode for the briefest of brief moments.
Did you catch her? I didn't see her.
She's the secretary at some point. Again, it's very quickly. It's
what was she, 5?
Who would go on to have a long and storied career of her own.
Yeah, I didn't realize that Katie and Boris were father and daughter.
And we talked about this off air, but Boris Segal has a very horrifying story tied with his name.
Really?
Wait, see, Richard doesn't know this either. Because I told you about this, Mike, off air, and you were surprised. So I'll tell you, Richard. Boris Segal, while filming the miniseries World War III, walked out of a helicopter the wrong way and was partially decapitated by the tail rotor blades of the helicopter. He was
directing.
Yeah, and he survived for 5 more hours after that happened.
Gross. Yeah,
man. Yeah, that's fucking rough. And that's like one I never heard of that before watching Columbo, because this is the second episode that he's directed. But yeah, it's whoa, what the fuck? That's crazy.
That makes Rust look like a pie fight.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. Someone wasn't doing their job. But you know what? I will say this. Now that I brought up Rust, which is a horrible tragedy, the level of safety on sets is above and beyond. If you're lighting a candle in a scene, the AD calls the crew and the cast together and they do a safety meeting. We're lighting a candle. There's a live flame. the unions have fought for and have gotten these incredible protections so that people don't get injured. The fact that a guy climbed out of it while working, right?
Yep.
The wrong side of the helicopter and got his head chopped off by a fucking rotor. Jesus.
Not chopped off, partially.
Shut up.
It's awful, but it's, again, one of those things that it's not like anybody's going, hey, Katie Seagal, tell me about this horrible thing that happened to you. But he worked in so much television in the 70s.
Oh, yeah. Well, and regular movies, too. I mean, he directed one of my favorite films, The Omega Man.
And he directed a couple episodes of Night Gallery as well, if I remember.
But they weren't as good as Swark. That's for you, FM.
We all know about Jean Swark. Father Malone's on a first name basis. Should know Swark.
Well, on the next episode, we are going to be looking at a episode called Double Exposure, which I keep mixing it up with two other episodes. One is the Double Shock episode, so I keep thinking that there's going to be two Martin Landau's in there. And I also keep mixing it up with a episode that has Dick Van Dyke, but no, it's going to be the return of Robert Culp. So we get to have some more Robert Culp anger. I think this is his third time, correct?
Yeah. Spoilers for everybody involved. He wears the most decadent yellow jacket you will ever see. It is. I am beyond excited to talk about the next episode, just to heap praise on Robert Culp.
Oh, God bless you. I love Robert Culp.
Well, and it's also going to be written by Stephen J. Cannell, your friend from the Rockford Files. Yes.
What are you doing? Why am I on this episode?
We know how much you love Boris Sagal. We know you're a big Roland Kibbe fan.
I'm just going to go watch it as a citizen.
You should.
And I'm going to listen to you guys talk about it.
Citizen Hatem.
Just like a regular schnook.
Literally got a Stephen Cannell script sitting right here on my desk.
You can watch that while you're eating egg noodles with ketchup.
Yeah, you fucking schnook.
Until we talk again, Chris, what are you up to?
Pounding away at the old audio sphere with podcasts over at weirdingwaymedia.com, including the Culture Cast, Scary Stories We Tell. Kolchak Tapes is done, so you can listen to that in its entirety. That's how we met our dear friend right here, Mr. Richard Hatem.
Oh, you stop.
All the good things over at weirdingwaymedia.com. What about you, Mr. Richard Hatem?
You know me, I'll just be in the bathroom calling my parents and counting to 6.
Very obscure reference. I hope the audience gets it.
I feel like the reinforcement of it with the second thing should more or less give it away. What about you, Mike?
As for me, I will be editing this episode soon. And yeah, everything you can possibly want of my voice is over at weirdingwaymedia.com. Things like the shows that we do with Father Malone, like Midnight Viewing, which is transitioning from just Night Gallery into Tales from the Dark Side. And eventually Hammer House of Horror. I had somebody write to me and say, ooh, did I miss those? I'd like, no, it'll probably be about 5 or 6 years, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
At least you're giving them hope.
Yeah. You got to have something in this world.
It's the hope that kills you in the end, really.
Until we meet again, I want to thank John Walker for our theme music and Colin Gallagher for our end theme music. And I want to thank everybody for listening. If you can, please rate and review the show wherever you get it. That would definitely help get the word out that, yes, there is yet another Columbo podcast.
Hello, this is Chris Haskell from They Live by Film. For those that don't know us, Adam, Zach, and I, we built a podcast over the last 2 years that's a combination of film discussion from 3 very different perspectives, as well as industry interviews with the leaders in boutique Blu-ray and 4K community. We started with Deaf Crocodile, but over time we've been lucky enough to speak with Arrow Video, Severin, Mondo Macabro, Vinegar Syndrome, Radiance, Indicator, most of the OCN partner labels. It's been a blast. You can find us wherever you podcast, and also actually recently as part of Someone's Favorite Production Podcast Network. We hope to see you online.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.